You ever think about, like, where movies are going?
Mm,
Like, what's going to happen to film?
all the time.
Yeah, right?
Yeah,
I mean, with all these streaming services popping up everywhere, you got to wonder what's next.
definitely. It's a pretty wild time for film, for sure.
Yeah. And that's what we're going to be diving into today.
Okay.
We're looking at this
Yeah.
article called Pasted Text,
Mm-hmm.
and it's all about streaming and cinema and the future of film.
Right. So big questions.
Big questions.
Yeah.
Really, really big. Like, are we watching the death of cinema right now?
Well,
Is streaming really going to, like, take over everything?
it's a question. Maybe.
Or can the two somehow, like, work it out and live together, you know?
Maybe they can collaborate.
Yeah.
We can hope. We can hope for the best.
Fingers crossed. And then there's this whole thing with, like, these massive streaming companies,
Yeah.
like Netflix and Amazon and Apple. They're getting so powerful.
Mm-hmm.
It's starting to feel a little bit like the old Hollywood studio system.
Oh, yeah. The golden age of Hollywood.
Yeah, yeah.
Lots of power concentrated in the hands of a few.
Right. And maybe even a little bit of a monopoly brewing.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
So those are some of the things we're going to unpack today.
Let's dig in.
So let's start with, like, a really basic question. Is streaming actually, like, killing traditional cinema?
I mean, in some ways, yes.
Right.
The numbers don't lie.
The numbers are there.
Vote by subscriptions. I mean, they've already overtaken cinema admissions in several major film markets.
Wow.
Yeah. It's not even just about how many people are watching.
Yep.
It's changing how films are actually made and how they're released and how we experience them.
Totally.
Yeah, it's a whole new landscape.
Like, remember back in the day when a movie would be in theaters for months and months?
Uh-huh.
Now it's like weeks, maybe days before it's on streaming.
Yeah, right?
Some movies even premiere on both at the same time.
Yeah, day and date releases.
I gotta say, though, part of me kind of misses the old way,
I know what you mean.
you know?
That anticipation. The anticipation. Like you had to wait for it.
That build-up.
Yeah. Like it felt special.
Mm.
Now it's like, oh, I could watch it at home in my pajamas.
Right. There's no rush.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it is convenient, though.
Oh, super convenient.
Can't deny that.
So convenient. But is that maybe making us like less appreciative of the whole cinema experience?
I think it's a valid concern.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, convenience is a big factor, but going to the cinema offers something that you just can't get at home.
Right.
Like that shared experience with other people.
Yes.
It's like a ritual. You're there. You're focused.
all in.
Yeah, you're all in. You're present.
Yeah.
And you're sharing that with a whole room full of strangers.
And the big screen. The huge screen.
The sound.
The sound.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't beat that.
Yeah, it's just different.
Streaming just can't capture that same energy.
No, it can't. It's a different thing
That's
entirely.
different.
Okay, so if streaming is changing the game so much, what does that mean for movie theaters?
I mean, they're having to adapt. They're
What?
getting creative.
Like how?
Well, you've seen the rise of these luxury theaters, right?
Yeah, those fancy ones.
They're not just about comfy seats, though.
Okay.
It's about making going to the movies an event.
Ooh, I see.
You know, it's like you're paying for an experience,
Makes sense.
something you can't get at home.
Okay, yeah, I get that.
And then you've got theaters trying new things,
Like what kinds of things?
like live broadcasts of plays and concerts,
Oh, wow.
even gaming tournaments.
Really?
They're trying to become community hubs,
That's interesting.
not just places to see movies.
Makes them more versatile.
Right, exactly.
And then there's also those little independent cinemas.
Oh, yeah, those are so important.
They always seem to have, like, the coolest stuff.
Right, they're the ones showing the really interesting films.
Yeah.
The thought-provoking ones.
Yeah.
The stuff you probably won't find on a big streaming platform.
Yeah, they're like little hidden gems.
They're essential for keeping film diverse and, you know, finding new talent.
Totally agree.
Yeah, but they're under a lot of pressure.
Yeah, I bet.
The pasted text excerpt actually talks about this. It points out that there are some worrying similarities between the rise of these streaming giants and what happened with the old Hollywood studio system.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about earlier.
Yeah.
Like, is history just repeating itself?
It's a question worth asking.
Because back in the golden age of Hollywood, a handful of studios basically controlled the whole industry. Like, they called all the shots. They decided what movies got made, how they were distributed.
Everything.
Total control. Total control. And they even did things that were, like, not really fair.
Like what?
Like block booking.
Oh, yeah.
Where they forced theaters to show their less popular films.
To get the blockbuster.
Just to get the good stuff.
Yeah, to get the hits, yeah.
So is that what we're going to see with streaming giants? Like Netflix and Amazon and Apple? Are they going to become the new studio bosses?
Well, it's a valid concern, I think.
Right.
Because these companies are vertically integrated.
Okay, so what does that mean?
It means they're involved in every step of the process.
Oh, wow.
From, like, financing the films to owning the platforms where we watch them.
So they have a lot of power.
They do.
That's a lot of power.
And that much control does raise some questions about fairness, about whether everyone has a chance to compete.
Right.
And whether they can manipulate the market.
Yeah. So could we be headed towards a future where some types of films just don't get made anymore?
It's possible.
Like, especially like independent films.
Yeah. More challenging stuff.
The stuff that's not like a surefire blockbuster hit.
Exactly.
Because they don't fit the algorithms or whatever.
Right. They might not fit the business model of these big companies.
Yeah. And what about us?
The viewers.
Yeah, the viewers.
Right.
Like, I mean, choice is good, right? But if it's just like a bunch of different versions of the same thing, is it really choice?
That's a good point.
And if these companies get too big,
yeah,
what's to stop them from just charging us whatever they want?
Yeah, that's another risk.
Yeah, it's like they could control everything.
Right, if they become too dominant.
The movies we watch.
The prices we pay.
Yeah.
It's a lot of power.
Yeah.
So these are real concerns, potential consequences of all this market concentration.
Yeah.
And it's not even just about price hikes.
Yeah.
It's about what happens to the content.
Right.
Like if a few companies control the algorithms that determine what we see, it could lead to less diversity.
Oh, yeah.
Fewer unique perspectives.
So everything would start looking the same.
Yeah, it could create a chilling effect on risk-taking.
Yeah, because nobody wants to make something that's not going to get seen.
Right.
Yeah.
And film, like any art form, needs that diversity. It needs experimentation to thrive.
Absolutely. So is there anything we can do? Like, is this all just doom and gloom, or is there some hope?
Oh, no, I don't think it's hopeless.
Okay, good.
We have power.
We do.
Yeah, we're not just passive consumers.
Right.
We can demand transparency from these companies.
Yeah, make them tell us what they're doing.
Exactly.
All right, well,
we can support independent creators.
yeah, watch their films.
Yeah, choose diversity.
Okay, yeah, good point.
And regulations can play a role, too.
Right, like rules?
Yeah, like antitrust laws.
What are those?
They're laws designed to prevent monopolies.
Oh, that's a good idea.
But they need to be updated.
Right.
To keep up with the digital age.
Yeah, everything's online now.
It's a different world.
So we need new rules for the new world.
Exactly. And some people argue that streaming services should have to play by the same rules as traditional media companies.
That's interesting.
Especially when it comes to, like, promoting competition and stopping anti-competitive practices.
Okay. Yeah, that seems fair.
Yeah.
So instead of like fighting, maybe streaming and cinema could just like work together.
Yeah, what if they collaborated?
Right. Like what if instead of being enemies, they were partners?
I mean, imagine a hybrid model.
Okay.
Where streaming services team up with theaters for like limited releases or special events.
Ooh, that's a cool idea.
You could get the best of both worlds.
Right.
It could create excitement for a film.
Get people talking.
Exactly. Give people choices.
So some people could go see it in the theater.
Have that special experience.
And other people could watch it at home.
On their own time.
Yeah. Everyone wins.
Right. And ultimately, that's what we want.
Yeah.
A healthy film ecosystem.
Right.
One that supports all kinds of voices.
Yeah. And gives us lots of different options.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we started with this question about the future of film. And we ended up talking about like big business and creative freedom.
Yeah, and the power of consumer choice.
It's all connected.
It is. The future of film isn't predetermined.
No.
It's shaped by the decisions we make.
Powerful stuff.
Yeah. So I'll leave you with this. What role do you want streaming and cinema to play in your life?
Ooh, that's a good question.
How can you support the kind of film landscape you want to see?
That is something to think about.
Think about it. Talk about it.
Yeah. And maybe even go watch a movie.
Whether it's at the cinema.
Or at home.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that's all the time we have for today.
Thanks for diving deep.
But keep those film reels rolling.
Yeah, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.